up and down in our emotions, and we'll be discussing that in a few minutes. I am Ramona Bodie.
I'm Dawn Bear.
I'm Deidre Lewis.
Vanessa Garinger.
Wendy Washington.
Well, good morning, ladies. I'm glad all of us are here this morning. The first thing I guess I would like us to talk about would be about George Floyd. And there are many things that happened this week, but that the ending of that trial was absolutely amazing. I did not, and I have to say this, though I saw the man being killed, I did not know that other people might have thought that he was killed by Chauvin. So I am very pleased that he is going to have to at least be in jail for some time, some period. We don't know how long it's going to be, because now you're excited about the fact that he's been found guilty, but I think the largest amount of years was like 45, and I think the least was 10. So now we have to see where that judge is going to be when it's time to say how long he has to be in jail. I'm not continue. I would like others of you to say something. I see, Deidre, you have something that you'd like to say?
I was just going to tell you that Walter Schlegel, in the meantime, was trying to get his 20-year sentence reduced for killing Walter Scott. Remember the shot 5 times in the back? The judge said, no, sir, you tried to blame everybody. You're going to do your whole 20 years. So in the advent of Derek Chauvin getting his time or being found guilty, we have Walter Schlegel, who is not going to be allowed to reduce his time from 20 years for shooting Walter Scott in the back 5 times. And I also have a list of people that, while we were looking at the Derek Chauvin trial, a list of Black people who were killed by the police, most of them children. Because if you're 17 and under, I call you a child. Because if they're not children, then they can go and buy drugs, they can smoke cigarettes and get liquor. They can't do that. So they're children.
Could you hold that for a minute?
There's a whole lot going on. I don't want us to get complacent and think this is it. It's not. Go on.
Yeah. Is someone else comment about what happened this week with George Floyd? And then we'll go back to Deidre with the list. Anyone else?
Well, I cried tears of joy. I mean, it was stunning that he was found guilty on all counts. Hopefully, this will be the catalyst to do some real criminal justice reform. You know, the door, I feel, is cracked open. This is the time to do this. So I'm thrilled at the charges. I'm kind of concerned about the length of his sentence because collectively, with all of those charges, it would have been like 70, 75 years. A legal expert spoke and said it might be about 12. I'm hoping it's more like 15. But in any case,
I would like 25 myself.
25,
yeah,
25.
In any case, I am absolutely thrilled, and you know, I send my prayers to the Floyd family because this has been a journey for that community, you know, for the nation. You know, so again, the jurors got it right.
Yes, they did. Okay. Dawn, do you have anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, I want to say I was totally relieved at the verdict because I was holding my breath, you know, when it happened, because I was actually out. Now I wanted to make it home so that I could hear it. So I'm extremely happy that the jury did what they had to do. I don't believe they were pressured, as I was listening to another radio station claiming, you know, that they were pressured to say that he was guilty, which was not true. And I was surprised that Chauvin was not in jail up to the trial. And if I'm wrong, let me know. But I believe he went in jail that day.
You have to be proven guilty. So
yeah, so he was like,
he put him on bail, didn't he?
He was on
bail.
Yeah. So in fact, another thing is they never mentioned his family. you know, who is he married? Does he have children?
His wife left him the day he
I
got
called
arrested.
out on him.
His wife left him the day he got arrested.
Okay, so, you know, and like I said, he needs to get everything that's due. And I want to say that the woman that shot the guy with the gun, what's his name? And what's the other person's
Oh,
name?
Dante Wright?
Dante, that she ought to know she's going to jail.
Mhm.
Girl, you about to lose your freedom.
Don't talk on because you never know. You
And
never
that's
know.
a white
And-
woman, dog. Look, that's a white woman.
Well, he
Don't
was a
forget
white
that.
man, but
Oh,
so,
that's a different animal. The white woman, she started crying. Next thing you know, the black boy go to jail. Come on now. You know I go to white woman get the crying.
so I'm hoping that all of these cops, and I'm hoping they could even go back to convict some that have shot black males,
Like
you know,
Loman for
intentionally.
Tamir Rice.
Yes.
Loman
And I
for
was-
Tamir Rice should be in jail.
Mhm.
Right. So,
Well,
I'm really proud and I'm happy for the family, George Floyd's family, the way they're handling everything. You know, they went to the funeral, you know, they're talking to the public. There was no violence, you know, no violence anywhere that I know of. So this, like I say, it was a historic day, like they said. And I'm proud of the president and the vice president for coming out and speaking to the family and to the nation about it. So, because we know the previous person, I'm not even going to say what he was, would even think about doing that. So I'm really happy, and I'm hoping it puts. But then, like we just said, Yedris, it's not putting the police on notice. They're still doing the same.
This is why we have to pass it federally, the George Floyd Police Reform Act and the Voting Rights Act. We need to pass those things federally because passing them state by state is not going to work, as you can see.
You are correct. And before I go to Wendy, I'd like to say that last night I saw a tape of a Louisiana policeman who tasered a man. The man broke his window to get in his house because he had locked himself out. Somebody saw him doing that. I guess didn't recognize him, but called the police.
Probably recognized him and did it anyway.
The man said, "This is my home," and they arrested him. They handcuffed him, put him in police car, and then tasered him twice.
Oh my God.
Then when
don't forget this word, Mona. He taunted and tased him. That's it.
He did. He taunted and tased the man. Then when he realized it was the man's home, he had to figure out some kind of charge. So he and look, it was all we had. Dummy is you had your body camera on, so you are there talking about how I'm gonna do something illegal.
There you go. There you go, baby. There you go. So he said, trump up some charges to put on him.
Charges on this guy. And
no.
he didn't put the man to jail. Girl, the man was 65 or 67 years old.
67 years old. He and I,
Yeah, and he didn't look like he was in good health either for the man.
And that did not help his health.
And the man was screaming.
And what color was the cop that did this?
Was black.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's my point that the culture has to change. Now, what mindset do you have? You black and you're gonna do this to another black man. Where's your mind, Tim Scott? Where's your mind, Clarence Thomas, that you could do this to another black man? That's why when H. Rap Brown told 60 Minutes on CBS in the 60s, a pig is a pig is a pig. They're all the same. Yeah. Not all police are bad. Yes, they are. They're all bad because when you come back to the station house and you know officer so-and-so has killed little Ray for nothing and you don't get in his face like I used to do at John Quincy Adams to white teachers who wrong black students, you ain't nothing.
Okay,
You just as bad as him.
Your comments on George Floyd and the funeral?
Well, I think this, the case and when these things occur, what you need to see is that you need a camera. So congratulations and to that young girl who filmed it. I mean, that was a courageous act for her to film that. And I saw different people make commentary saying that that young woman who did that was very courageous at that moment to have the evidence that was able to follow through and get the police in trouble. We also have to think about the other police that were complicit with this, and their trial is supposed to be happening in
August
as well. And then witnesses that were there. So this is, it took a lot to get this done in the way to claim this as a victory. And the whole thing is so complicated that we are claiming a victory, that we feel like we won, and it's really at the expense of someone's life. And more importantly, it was because he called out for his mother. There's so many important things that resonate with why this became the case that made significant change that we can really examine. So we see that while it's most often, or it appears to be most often, that it's our Black men that are victims, his daughter came to be a big part of this when she said, "My daddy's changing the world." Him calling out his mother. So you see all the different things that were brought in to make this really the situation or the crisis, and to see it as a crisis to make the change that needs to be changed. Mm-hmm. Just like we said, the very same day, someone was shot and killed. The day after, even just being harassed, trying to get into your own window. We know, none of us, when we get in our car and we drive through the city of New Orleans, we know that when we hear a siren, there's something else that takes place. If not just like, oh, okay, we're gonna get stopped for a ticket anymore. When you hear a siren behind you, you're traumatized. And I think there's something clearly wrong with the way that we're living in what they want to say is America and all these freedoms. So this is just the beginning of our fight. Also, I'd like to say that as this happened, there was the comparison to the initial time that the filming took place. So we saw a lot of footage of the one in California. I'm drawing a blank on his name, but the one when they, one of the initial filming.
Rodney King.
So we saw that image again. And when you look at the years in between, you can't even imagine that. Oh, wow.
No reform.
Been that long since Rodney King. And we got to know it's important that we always have to be courageous as we go back and forth with this police force or these, people in hoods, but they have a uniform now. So it's to me, it almost puts us in a more difficult position, because those that don't like the result, they go and have their meetings and they come up with a new and better strategy to try to fight having police accountable. So I just really want to say that, like we're all echoing, just like don't get relaxed and, be grateful that police now may have more of an idea that they will be held accountable for their actions and misdeeds.
Well,
it's amazing, and I say amazing to me, but to go to your right hand if that's your dominant hand, but to go to your gun and pull out your gun, knowing now what is going on, I just don't understand. I really don't. And I know I'd like to talk about the little girl. Well, first, Dante, that was horrible what that woman did, that police woman did to him. Dante Wright.
Confused the taser and the gun.
Taser and the gun, yeah.
I mean, so different.
The taser.
That's a striking of you all that you have to have.
I've not held a gun in my life, so I don't know how heavy a gun is, but I can imagine that a gun has to have some weight to it. And that taser, I know, does not have weight to it because they've said it. So what is she? I mean, what was going on in her mind? And she was training She was in a training position. And I know, ladies, that all of you have trained people. Mm-hmm. And when you're training somebody, what do? You watch. Yeah. You participate. You watch. You instruct. You teach. And you're not the one who's standing up there with a gun in your hand getting ready to shoot somebody. So who is she? What is she doing? What is she thinking? Except other than kill that boy. You know what I'm saying?
We go back again to culture.
Of the young life. Of the young Black life gone.
We had
We go back again to culture. She trained people, and police use code words. Taser, taser, taser. Normally, she could have gotten away with that, but the cameras are glaring. Gun, gun, I see a gun. That gives them a justification for shooting you. These are just code words they use to CYA, cover their butts if anything goes down. Now, she really thought that that would work in her favor because they're tone deaf. It goes to culture. The culture is you can kill Blacks with impunity. Nothing will happen. You can fear for your life. These are code words. Gun, 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 taser, fear for my life. They usually walk on that. And it should be stark to you all that you have to have video proof evidence and run this over and over again of Black lynchings to get any kind of justice. She got arrested because it was on video, but the young man who got killed at school by the police in the bathroom, no video. Already they say no charges filed. How did the boy wind up in the bathroom dead at school? See, these are the things that they're doing while we concentrating on this. You got to keep your eyes on the prize.
Yes, that fires other places.
A federal mandate, this is going to continue to happen. These people died within a week of each other. Makai Bryan, the little 13-year-old boy, Adam Toledo, Anthony Thompson, and Andrew Brown. What is going on? Why is it okay since Derek Chauvin been on trial and convicted that 4 or 5 more Black folks died? We're not even gonna go back to 2020. We're just doing right here in April of this year.
And you know what else is?
Yes, go ahead, Dawn. Dawn.
Another thing is when these innocent people are shot, it's not one bullet. It's at least 4 bullets.
Yeah.
You know, that they're shooting. They're not wanting to harm you or stop you. They want to kill you. So, I mean, what's up with that? You know, it's just
they're trained.
Mm-hmm.
They're trained to do, but why you not trained to do that to mass murderers? You know, they get put in the back of the car gingerly, get taken to Burger King. Kyle Rittenhouse, you got policemen losing their jobs because they continue to fund his GoFundMe for his defense upon walking down the street with an AR-15, killing 2 white men and wounding another white man, and was offered water and a ride by the police who are funding his campaign.
Right, to bring him home, though.
Yeah. Yes. So the mentality, that culture, how are you going to change that? How are you going to tell people who can kneel on your neck for 9 minutes and 19 seconds, who can shoot a 13-year-old boy to death, who can shoot a 16-year-old girl to death? How are you going to tell and reform those people? How are you going to change that mindset? You're going to have to do to them what you did to Arlene. See, people have a problem with teacher unions, but they have a problem with police unions because they're allowed to do all of these things. The police unions need to be disbanded. You need to fire everybody and rehire. You need to go to the academy before corruption has taken place and handpick soldiers that are going to do 21st century policing. I mean, you're not going to change this old dog and then make him do a new trick. These people mean to kill you. They don't have any other agenda but to kill you. And I really believe there is a club that we don't know about that they are admitted into when they do this. It's like notches on a belt when you're a gangster. Mm-hmm. You get higher respect from the people in that element. And I know they get higher respect than that. When they go to jail, they join the Aryan Nation and they live like kings, and she's going to live like a queen because the Aryan Nation is in prison too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. well,
Nothing will happen to them. Derek Chauvin is going to be a hero in jail. You
It-
can't, what? You did it, bro. What? 9 minutes? You lived on that neck. Man, give me some doubt. Yes, Aryan Nation hero.
I'm afraid you're right, Deidre. I'm afraid you're right. But let's do one other thing, and maybe these are the things that will do more for us besides that, and that is putting people in places of power that have an agenda for the world, not an agenda for a part of the world. And like we said today, Kiva Landrum, she now is, what is her new position?
Well, she don't have it yet, but she's going to be the Attorney General here, the district attorney for
the
the district or whatever.
Right. No, he's gonna be the U.S. attorney.
Yeah, U.S. That's the name. Thank you, Wendy.
Yeah, it's an appointed post, and
Mhm.
we just have to clear and get confirmed. So she's going to have to go through that rigmarole. But again, that's and like you said, Mona, that's a very powerful position to perhaps change the way police and communities are going to be held accountable for just doing the misdeeds. So, I just think that this speaks to the fact that people in power and voting and putting people in the right place is important. And just to say, we do have an election tomorrow, so we are women in politics.
Yeah.
Go vote for. Please don't forget to go vote tomorrow if you haven't early voted. And it's important to be part of the process. If we're supposed to be tax-paying citizens, we've got process.
Absolutely.
You heard.
Yeah. You could be a part of the taxpaying process if you had something to be a part of, if you had something to choose from. It's not a choice when you have the same thing. It's a two-sided thing. It's the same card. It's the queen of spades on both sides. It's no differentiation. That's going to be the hard thing. I can't even pick the lesser two evils because they're both evil. Well, it's going to be hard, girl. It's going to be hard.
Pick one.
You can hear me.
Yeah, we have to be a part of the process.
Part of the process.
The process of my own demise. Thank you for that one.
No,
The process of me putting my Xylon B in the cell and breathing deeply. Wow.
But go in and vote. I know you didn't vote early because we've been trying to get you to do that. But anyway.
Just hold your nose, Deidre.
Well, think about it, how honorable it is that we have the ability to do that.
To vote.
We are in America. So just
And I can proudly say I voted in every election since I was 18 years old. And I was that yesterday. Every election.
Right. So just think about it that way. Some people don't even have the ability to do this. So,
Well, if you live in Florida and in Georgia, your rights are quickly being eroded because now Florida has an anti-protesting. Now, I don't know how this is going to stand up in the Supreme Court, but then we have a Supreme Court that is a 6-3 majority. So it just may stand up. But I know it's in the Constitution. You have a right to lawful assembly. That's written down in black and white. I saw it on my Constitution. So I don't know how that's going to work, but you now have the sheriff telling you this is a protest and this is a riot. So now you're going to go to jail for 15 years. Yeah, 15 years. And if you take down a statue, a Confederate monument, that's a 15-year charge as well. Yes. And what they're going to do is when they lock you up for protesting, you cannot get out of jail on bail. You have to remain in jail until your first court appearance. So these things are happening. So we want to go and talk about Navalny in Russia. No, let's talk about DeSantis in Florida and Kemp in Georgia, who are peeling away your voting rights. And then when you get out here to complain about it and protest, then they're going to lock you up and take away all of your rights and make you a felon. Now you can't vote.
On that note, because I was actually looking at that, but they consider one of the charges mob intimidation. It's a first-degree misdemeanor for a group of 3 or more. And if you want to deal with the police, maybe tap him on the shoulder. Battery on a police officer during a riot you get 6 months mandatory jail time.
Isn't that something?
You know, it's like,
Wow.
so that, and from what I
Yeah,
understand,
don't forget this,
that is
Dawn.
being fought right now.
Speaking in one law, speaking to the police like what they were doing to George Floyd,
Mhm.
telling Derek Chauvin,
Yeah.
you're a punk, you could go to jail for that now. So
Right.
you're supposed to stand
Uh-huh.
around, watch the police kneel on the neck and say, nothing,
Nothing.
nothing.
Mhm.
Good show, or you, oh, great officer, but you can't say anything derogatory to the police while he's murdering people. You have
Wow.
to be quiet and remain vigilant. And now it's a crime if you say something derogatory to the police.
So that's in Florida.
You got your Governor John Bell Edwards, who did the same thing. He signed Blue Lives Matter right after Black folks voted for him to get him in office. He gave us a thank you with the Blue Lives Matter law. Yeah. So this kind of thing is happening, and we're over here watching this, the birdie over here, but they got a whole auditorium of birds over here that we ain't paying no attention to. And they're killing us. And when we go to think about it or do anything about it, it's going to be too late. And like I said, we can't depend on the Supreme Court because it's 6-3. I don't trust them. You?
Well, also, I mean, now that you're saying Supreme Court, wasn't there also conversation or going to have conversation, or they desired to have conversation about adding it, making it a larger body of politics, the Supreme Court? How many they want? 12?
That's going to take 60 votes.
Yeah.
Because they won't go to cloture because of Joe Manchin and Kristen Sinema. They won't get into filibuster, so we can't do 51 votes. But this is what is sorely needed. You need that George Floyd police reform. You need that HR 1, the Voting Reform Act, because remember when Roberts took the teeth out of the voting reform bill? This is why you have what's going on in Georgia now. They're coming up with all of these laws that are anti-voting. And these businesses that wrote this letter, that's commendable, but until you all put more pressure, stop funding the campaigns of, then this is going to continue. Why would I listen to you and you keep giving me a check? 40,000, 50,000 to run my campaign. Stop funding them. Cut them off. Stop it.
So let me ask this. Question. I don't know I haven't heard. I don't know what's going on about this. What about Rouse's? That's one of the things that we in New Orleans did. We stopped going to Rouse.
I think
he's clapped back.
What are they doing?
What
are they doing? Rouse.
He's clapped back. Well, he's doing a PR campaign. He got your boy on there with the Indian costume. Rouse has been good. Oh Lord, Rouse has been good to me. Then he got the white guy on there with the guitars, talking about how Rouse has been uplifted his life. Now you got the praline maker, Kalela. Oh, Mr. Ross is like my candy, and now he got me in all his stores. That's powerful, sweetie. I have not gone in it.
Or in all his stores, or is she just selling the pralines at the open air market?
No, darling. She got a box in the display in pink.
Wow.
Okay.
So anybody been buying?
Bringing them in there, stuffing up restocking the shelf. Yeah, you can get because he like, so I'm gonna go to him and ask him about my gumbo. Hell, why not? And I can make my commercial. Rouse has been good to me.
Well, anybody been by his store on the lakefront? Have people started returning shopping there?
I don't know. I have not.
No.
I have not.
I haven't.
I still don't go, but I do believe that people may be going there for crawfish.
Okay.
It's cheap. You're right. Yeah.
I'm
I
right.
got news for you people going there for crawfish. Calton and Claiborne got the best crawfish today.
Because it's cheap. Because he made it.
It's
Right.
£2.99. So I would, while I won't go to Rouse's, I do go to the place in Lakeview, Sid's, and they're just the same because when you go there, you see that they have Trump stickers on there.
What?
So,
oh, well, I can't go in there. Nah. I get my friend Vicky with that. I say, is that a Trump hat on your head? Oh, he had to get a little punishment. I just stay out of there.
Go crawfishing out.
Is that a Trump hat on your head? Well, Deidre, I just want things to go back to. Oh, when I was a slave? What you want me to go back to, girl? What? When I just ride in the back of the bus, see, you got to get in their faces and make them aware of how insensitive that is.
Well,
Yeah.
I have on my Obama.
I go back, I got on my Black Lives Matter man. Oh, so you're telling me my black life don't matter?
You say you have your Obama shirt on, Wendy?
My Obama sweatshirt.
Oh.
I have to keep certain things in the car in case I need to go and just represent and let them know.
Yeah.
15 days on veteran. I mean, just, you know.
What you wear, Wendy?
Yeah, since my father lives over there, I'm mostly over there. And sometimes I walk in to see him and he's wearing that Newsmax cap sometimes.
Oh, they're worse than Fox.
Max cap. And like, he said, well, I think I sent them money. And I'm like, wait, what is going on?
Oh my God. Look, hold your daddy, Wendy. Hold your daddy.
Try to get control, but you can only control so much. So, and they're sending things in the mail. And I'm saying, Daddy, why you got this? Why is Newsmax coming here? You know,
He has to stay away from Newsmax, Washington Examiner, the New York Post. Yes, Red State. Don't shop with those people.
So I didn't get
News,
so
Fox, anything. After the Fox.
wait about Rouse's. So the answer is we as a community are now bowing down and going to get their crawfish.
No, I go to Robert's because I'm telling you, Robert's on Carrollton and Claiborne are the beast. They're very good. Yeah, very good. You can see the
How much?
Well, it
Which
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You're not gonna go. Well, I go to Conseco's on Elysian Fields, and theirs are delicious too.
Oh, they are?
right.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Well, I'm gonna have to try them because I go in there to get their candy canes. But they have good crawfish as well.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I'm gonna go in there, I'm gonna go past there to see.
I wish
Mona say y'all got good crawfish. I come here because I'm the crawfish queen. Let me see. I'll put a pound if they're good, I'll fill up my ice chest.
and you don't need to wait for the season, Deidre. You just crawfish all year round.
No, because you can't do anything with them after next month because they get really hard and they don't absorb the seasoning well. It's futile to eat them. From say June all the way through August, September, nah, you can't do nothing with them, baby. Unless you're farm raising. I don't like that farm raisin. I don't know what you put in there to make that raisin. Nope, I like wild caught.
Ramona, she gonna use your name.
I know.
I say y'all got good crawfish. Let me.
And I know she'll do it too. John Kennedy, y'all were talking about what is it, Georgia, but
Stacey Abrams.
Stacey Abrams.
She served him up, baby. She served him up. She sliced, diced, and rolled him out.
She did more than serve him up. I can't tell y'all what I want to say on air. She waxed him. That's
Yeah,
all I
she
can
did.
say. And then
That's
he
gonna
came
learn
on-
that boy.
Came on his Southern Cajun drawl.
Yes.
That is called his stick. That's his stick. Oh, I'm just an old country lawyer. You are a Rhodes Scholar, Harvard educated. Don't come with that foolishness.
And when I know Dawn and I know when we went to the state when he was Secretary of whatever.
The Treasury.
Bond Commission, with the Bond Commission.
The bond commission, and we went there. I didn't hear him speaking like that.
I know you didn't.
Yeah.
I know you didn't.
Nah.
Mm-mm.
But I would
He
remember
got
that.
told you, and all he could come up with was, huh?
Yeah. But go right into Gato in my date. I gotta find it.
Yeah.
My date.
That's
She
why.
was
That's
so
why I'm gonna send her one of these.
Oh,
Bad girls get it done, baby.
She was so cool and calm.
I'm sending a note to date and tell about his performance with her and
Because
laughing.
he is such a buffoon.
Yeah.
He's an embarrassment to us.
He really is. He really
Here's
is.
my
Lord.
thing. We need to do a Stacey Abrams thing here because I follow the voting in the legislature. They voted against the Violence Against Women Act. You know that, which says that men should not be able to get guns who have been stalking you, Vanessa. You know, you told that boy it was over.
Ooh.
It ain't never gonna be over till he says it's over. Now you got a gun sitting outside your house. Why would you vote against that?
Wow.
Why would you go vote against the minimum wage? So I'm looking at Clay Gray, Higgins, the Jones man, Steve Scalise. These people are solidly Republicans. You don't have the Democrat yet because we have not voted to put in either Troy or Karen.
Mm-hmm.
These people vote solidly against the American interests. And if we can crack those whites' mind against this racism stuff, is over. Al Sharpton told you your expiration date is here. So stop holding on to that. You are voting against your interests. Who would want somebody violence against women so your husband can beat you and shoot you and that's cool? Mm-hmm. Who don't want $15 an hour? I mean, basic things. They didn't even want you to have health care until John Bel Edwards won. No, Karen, you're lying. You didn't do that. John Bel Edwards, the governor, did that. So if you continue to vote this way, you're voting against yourselves. Stop doing it. So something she did to break through, we need to find out what it is, because I'm willing to go through all 64 parishes. These things have got to change.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, I really don't. I mean, I think we have an assumption that they can recognize that they're voting against their interests.
I know. That's what I said. What are we going to do to make them know it, Wendy? Tell me what we can do.
I think we're assuming that they have the same interest as us. And I think white men just don't see and have the same interest. And they're more about protecting their whiteness than anything. And they are. So it's not even their interest. It's really just their whiteness. So they navigate on keeping the status quo. They don't know anything else. They don't care about anything else. So I think
about white women? What about white women?
Our efforts and our energy should be bringing more people into the fold. So we need to do concentrated, focused voting registration. I mean, that's how Stacey Abrams platformed Georgia. Yeah. They did a very micromanaged, going out to the hinterlands and getting people into this.
And she did something else. She made them attach voting to what you get. See, like right now, her voters are, this is why we vote, because you get stuff.
Right. Mm-hmm. You've got to create the process. But I think trying to convince people who think nothing of me, it's like, I can't have a conversation with you. You don't think anything of me. And it might not necessarily be because I'm Black. It might be because I'm a woman.
Well, so, this is what I was going to think. I'm not interested in white men, but I know there's a coalition of white women who will definitely clue into being abused, the violence against women, and you're a head of household, $15 an hour would make a big impact on you. And yes, you need healthcare. See those three issues right there? Cross color lines. Now, we might not win white men, but we'll win enough white women and enough of white men. Those soft tennis shoe wearing white men, they're listening. I ain't talking about the other ones. I'm talking about the ones who wear the soft tennis shoes. They are and with us together, we can change this stuff. No, we can't change everybody, but I'm sure we can come up with enough people, with the Blacks, Hispanics, and the whites who are interested, to pull them over to our side. We can change this. Yeah. Georgia ain't no different than Louisiana. They got racism everywhere. Like what Al said, the stench of racism is odoriferous.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I don't agree with you that white women are ready to jump on board. They've been part of the movement as well. And some may be, but they're just not, to me, solid. Like flexible and fluid depending on a multiple of things. So I'd rather get new people. Like I think the newer generation, the younger generation is a little bit more woke, but I wouldn't put my confidence in trying to believe that a white woman is ready to go to bat for me in the way that we need them to.
Not bad for me, baby. Bad for yourself. Because that Violence Against Women Act, if your husband or boyfriend or ex-lover is crazy, that's affecting you. Okay? So when I put that in your face, what do you want to do about him? Because whether you Black or white, when he got that hatchet waiting to chop your head off, you might want to consider, maybe I ought to have a law to stop that. Mm-hmm. That's cross-color line. That's if you're a purple woman, a white woman, a blue woman, You don't want your head chopped off like the woman coming out her door that day. The man, her ex-husband laying under the house, chops up with a machete and chops her mom up too. You see what I'm saying? Violence against women. He's allowed to do that. Mm-hmm. And if she'd have killed him first, she wound up in a penitentiary. But he chopped her and her mama to death in front of the house with his machete. That about 3 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Keep on playing with these people. They're not playing with you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that will call for them, you know, becoming awakened in a different way.
That's what I'm talking about. And yes, if your husband walked out and left you here with your 4 kids, yeah, you want $20 an hour because you're struggling. You're tired of being on the struggle bus. Let me see. Voting for Trump with MAGA didn't make my life any better. But if I get this $15 an hour, at least I'm upwardly mobile. I may be able to do something better with my life and my situation. And then with Joe Biden additionally giving you that $250 to $300 a month per child, you like that? You got to keep voting to keep him in, or people like him in, so you can continue to get that, to lift yourself out of poverty. You vote, you get stuff. That's all you got to tell them. You vote, you get stuff. What have you gotten from all of this racism you held on to all these years? What have you gotten? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's all you got to do. You make a decision. Yeah, I'm going to go along with you. I like the racism and I like being in this position. I don't want to hear nothing you got to say. Thank you, man, for your time. I'm out. Mm-hmm. That's it. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But you're not going to get it done until you get it done.
Yeah. So you are what? You are saying that
I have to figure out a way to reach across the aisles and hold my temper and say stuff and mean it to people who are like 10 ears, because they have been indoctrinated, born and steeped in blacks are bad, whites are good, blacks should die, whites should live. They've been steeped in that. You've been raised in that. You've been baptized in that belief. How do you break through that? That's what I'm talking about, culture. How to change the culture of that. It's not cool to shoot on 13-year-olds, drop what you have in your hand and turn and face me and he do it and you shoot him anyway. That ain't good.
Yeah. And I know one of them is the Michaela incident that you're discussing too. And also that young boy. I watched the videos. It's difficult to deal with what we saw. I just, I'm very difficult.
It is.
That's where I am with that. It's very difficult to look at that and the decision on, hey, you're guilty.
I mean, drop your weapon and turn and show me your hands. The boy did that. I don't know what video they have that don't show that, but the video I've been looking at over and over again showed the boy drop what he had and turn with his hands up. Mm-hmm. That's what you told him to do. And you shoot him anyway. He's 13. Why was he out at 2 a.m? I don't give a doggone what time of the day or night he was out. That's not an execution. That's not a death sentence to be breaking curfew. If it is, they have a whole lot more people dead. That's not against the law. I mean, it's against the law, but it's not an execution sentence.
Right.
What is wrong with you people? This other fool, he's an expert marksman in the military. This is why he was sure he was not going to hit the other people with his gun. You shot a 16-year-old 4 times. That's why I call you a cop, a coward on public salary. You all are cowards.
I just couldn't understand why he shot her 4 times.
4.
To stop her.
Jack Bauer even know if you shoot somebody in the knee, you get their attention.
She did.
Jack Bauer know it, why you don't?
But you agree that she needed to be stopped or not?
I agree she needed to be stopped. Yeah. And I agree, not necessarily you stopping her, coming and grabbing her with it because you could have got cut or whatever. But I think one shot to the knee or the foot would have stopped her. That's what I'm thinking. Because first of all, you're shocked that you shot, but you didn't even give her the chance. You went on it, and she was the one that called the police because she was being harassed. You forgot all about, I thought if I follow Vanessa to her house, automatically I go to jail for that.
So
but apparently these days, if I follow Vanessa to her house, tone her and call her fat and ugly and all that, it's cool. And when the police come, after I call them, they shoot me.
Wow. So that was actually her, that child called
She called the police because these women, young women, were harassing her. You can see she was a fat girl, and I know what they, you're fat, you're stank, and all that old stuff, coming to the girl door with that mess. So
well, the two girls I saw, they were not small either.
Thank you. Thank you. And they were waylaying on her, but that was cool. And when he rides up, he see her with the knife because she's reacting. In the city, you trying to get the situation assessed, you jump out like Loman did with Tamir. Pow, 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 pow. What the hell wrong with you? I can only hope that happens to one of your children.
4 times. I just couldn't say. I was like, he could have shot her in the leg twice.
And what do you mean you're not trained? You are trained because you take a white boy like Kyle Rittenhouse and put him in the back of the car gingerly. You trained, but what you trained is the culture tells you you can kill black folks in the school because you can get in that club now. And I'm sick of this. And I don't blame LeBron. He reacted out of anger because he has children. Yeah. And he said, you next. And he should be next. And why are you such a military sharpshooter expert out on the street dealing with civilians? Wow. You should be in the military still doing what you do. You shouldn't be on American streets policing American citizens. And that's another thing the police reform bill will require. No more militarization. Did you see the military policing on January 6th? Where was all that military equipment on January 6th? No. Don't tell me about they need training. I don't need no doggone training. They need to be redressed in your mindset. And that's going to take a generation to do that. We don't have time for that. Fire all of them.
Some of the conversation I heard, it wasn't a good look, but it was a good look when we were protesting.
Thank you.
Okay.
And Trump walked across there and had those people shot at with those bullets to hold the Bible upside down and backwards.
Oh, Lord. Yes. So, it just goes on and on.
And it doesn't stop because we haven't done anything but talk about it. And my prayers are with you, my thoughts and concerns. Keep your thoughts and your prayers and give me the George Floyd police reform bill. You know what I want for reparations? Get rid of qualified immunity for all the pigs, all the cowards on public salary in this country. Get rid of qualified. I don't want no check for no pay to the order. Keep my pay to the order and get rid of qualified immunity. That's what I want.
So where the Attorney General is investigating the use of force in the Minneapolis Police Department. And I was shocked to find out that the population in Minneapolis is only 19% Black, but yet is 62 to 64% of folks in Minneapolis that have been involved in situations where there was use of force. So at least they're investigating. We'll see what comes out of it.
They didn't have to investigate that. You and I would know it already without even thinking about it. That's the way it goes. And it is because we didn't wake up. We weren't born. Black people weren't born saying, I'm gonna be the first one to get out here and shoot somebody, or I'm gonna steal, or I'm gonna do this, that, or the other. No, that is just because of the things that have happened to us. Poor education, poor health care, poor salaries, the whole bit.
And redlining, not enjoying the GI Bill from World War II. Yeah, all of that had a lot to do.
We just get, when we hear it.
On body electric, you see.
When we hear the government stepping up to investigate, we're like, this stuff has been happening to us forever.
400 years.
Forever.
Because we have not been looked at as human beings.
That's why I'm hoping this little crack in the window.
We are still considered slaves. That is what we are supposed to be, and that is what we brought here to be, and no one wants to change that. Don't want to see us in any other way than that way. There are a few of us who are arriving to the top of their jobs and positions. So we do have some people, some
Let you up there. They let a few up, and then the rest of y'all keep there.
people stay down, and that's just the way.
Yeah.
And sometimes breaking that ceiling is extremely difficult. It's always difficult.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then get through it, it's a hard thing for a person to be in a situation where they are an executive in a white environment. It is extremely
That's
hard.
that's what the series Them is about. Them is very, very good, and people are it's so vulgar. It's very, very good at talking about the trauma that racism inflicts upon Black people, period. So they're using it this family, but just the trauma of racism. I mean, after Al Sharpton's sermon on George Floyd, I thought he couldn't outdo himself, but he outdid himself again yesterday. It is time. You want to talk about incense? It is time to get rid of the stench of racism.
Yeah.
It is time to your expiration, talking about expired tags. Your racism has expired. It is time for us to invoke these laws. And now we have the country looking at us. We need to go ahead on and because strike while the iron is hot.
Yeah, we do.
Mm-hmm.
We do.
It's time.
This is our opportunity.
It's a lynching. And people say, all the way back to Emmett Till. Emmett Till is brand new, baby. No, let's go back to the couple who was lynched coming home from church, hanging off the bridge. Let's go back to a farmer and his wife, pregnant, having a baby cut out of her, put a cat inside of her, sewing her stomach back up, and let the cat claw its way out. Let's talk about that. We ain't talking about no Emmett Till. Emmett Till is new. Let's talk about lynchings from way back when.
Okay.
Your eyes bust out your head. You're in your uniform because the white sheriff is offended that you still wearing a white man's uniform after you came home from defeating Hitler and Hirohito. Yeah, let's talk about that.
Wow. That is that makes me stutter, Deidre. And
I can't sleep at nights when I start thinking about it. That's why I gotta watch Disney, something to take my mind off of it. Because it is too crucial and it's very traumatic of how we suffer in this country.
Yeah.
Okay. So what we can do though is we in our own way and throughout our days, do the best we can for the people around us to help, because people need that. And you're right, people do need health care, they need increases in pay and etc. And you can only try to get us to that point. We also have to look at some of the things that we do, and that is to improve our way of life. We have to get the education and I'm not saying that we have to be college graduates, but because we are educated people now, but get a skill. If you don't choose to have a college education, get a skill, learn something, do for your family. And then maybe through all of those actions, we can elevate ourselves a little more and more and more. We got to work at it too. We just can't. We're waiting for no white man to do for us.
Well, as far as racism,
now the problem
we can't do it.
The problem with the white man is that they feel like they're losing ground because the world is becoming brown and not white. And that is what the problem is right now. And y'all think about it. No, I don't want to give up what I got. So I don't blame y'all for not wanting to give up what y'all had. I don't blame them.
We don't want you to give us anything. Dear Mr. White Man, we don't want you to give us anything. We just want you to keep your knee off our neck and stop the stench of racism. We want the George Floyd police reform bill, and we want the HR 1 Voting Rights Act back in place where it was to stop places like Georgia and Florida from impinging upon my rights. That's all I want.
Well, ladies, we've come to
money, I want your house, I want your coat.
We've come to the 10 o'clock hour. Don't want to talk something about New Orleans East, but I guess we'll do that when we come back next time next week.
But could I just mention one thing? I think everybody should know the mayor Well, the city of New Orleans received $375 million from the stimulus money. And she has created a 25-member committee to work on 5 different issues as to where the money will go. Case management, community service, workforce, economic recovery, investment, and public health. Now, in looking at the members on that board, I don't really see a lot of people, hardly nobody, I'm gonna be honest with you,
Political
that
favor.
actually deal with community issues in New Orleans East and the lower Ninth Ward.
Check
fact,
how
I
much
sent-
money they sent. Check how much.
So hold up, Deidre, hold up.
Wow.
So, so it concerns me that we don't have still the representation to help us with the recovery of New Orleans East.
So no community
So
members.
So I've reached out, right, to one of the members, and I'm going to reach out to another one. Because if they're representing the city and definitely New Orleans East, we need them to meet with us, with the different community groups, not just Enoch. We got the New Orleans East Matters group, and this other group. So they need to meet with us on where this money is going, because we definitely can use some money in some of these 5 areas, that they're going to concentrate on.
Because I saw the group that she put together around gun violence, and I was saying, wow, that we need funding around that in our communities. But again, I just think lots of times they don't want regular folk, regular citizens to be that close to the money. It seems to always be that way. You will have no input around how these monies are spent. We're going to control it, and we're going to make sure that it goes where we want it to go.
Well, who's on the committee?
I sent you the list. It's like 25 people. I sent everyone the list. Yeah.
Okay.
We can maybe discuss that next week. Okay.
Yeah, we need to do that.
And send the list so we can see. We may know some of the people and we can contact them ourselves.
It's on our text. It's on our text.
4 of them. Yeah, I sent you a text. I know 4 of the individuals. Yeah.
Oh, good.
I'm saying no 4 other ones. And by the time we look at the entire list, we know them all.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Okay. So send us
Don, I'll work with you on that list too.
Okay.
All right.
Great.
Yeah, I mean,
Me
that's
too.
25 people. I hope they're not getting paid.
Yeah, ladies, one of the things too that you had brought up too before you get off, because I think somebody asked a question about Chauvin. I think that was you, Ramona. Chauvin, before he was remanded to prison, he was put in jail, but he just like anybody else was offered bail. So he had $100,000 bail, and he posted that bail. So the day that he was found guilty, the prosecution asked for his bail to be revoked, and he was let out of the courtroom automatically. So that's what that was.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he has no family because, like I said, the wife divorced him. I mean, left him the day he got arrested.
Yes.
Okay, ladies.
Okay.
Good show. Very good show.
Have a good weekend.
Okay.
All right.
Body.
Y'all take care.
And Wendy, give me a call. Okay.
All right. Have a good weekend, ladies.
Oh, it's windy. Okay.
No, I already know what you and I already talked. So hush up.